So anyway, here is kind of my thoughts. This is Orzhov, black and white. Um, so Planeswalker here, Kaya is. I think she's going to be interesting. I think she's a big, like, you don't know. I think she's got a lot of cool niche uses. Exile 2 target cards from a single graveyard, gain 2 life. At least one creature card was exiled this way. If you at least one. -1 going to be exile target permanent with converted cost 1 mana or less. Very niche. You're going to use it against tokens. You're going to use it against certain things. So she may be a sideboard even. And then your -5 going to deal damage equal to number of cards the player owns in exile, and you gain that much life. So, not a bad card. I think she's going to require certain builds. And we're not going to go over this depth on everything. I'm just going to kind of point out the big ones, especially the mythics. Seraph Scales, I think, is actually going to be kind of busted. She's not legendary, 4/3 flying for 4. She is susceptible to a lot of removal, whether lightning strikes or lava coils or conclaves or whatever, gaining a vigilance or gaining death touch until in turn. She does have afterlife, so you do get value if in fact she does not get lava coiled, realistically. Provides a way to deal with things like a Carnage Tyrant through the death touch. Also, Boros Angels becomes white, black, red, whatever that combination's called. I forget off the top of my head. So you've got some different like angel things that go on there, and she's just a 4/3 flying for 4 with 4 abilities. That's pretty good, especially with like graveyard recursion. So she lives through, she does something even if like beyond settle or beyond lava coil, and beyond conclave. There's other ones obviously, but yeah, she's gonna be really good. This card is gonna be fun. So anything something dies, you're gonna trigger the effect twice. She's legendary, so you may not want to put 4, but if you want to do the deck, you may have to put 4 and have some sort of sacrifice or discard mechanic, which isn't going to be hard for black or white. She's going to be fun. I think she's going to be... There's this fun-good ratio. I think she's going to be a little bit of both. I don't know whether she's going to be more fun or more good. She doesn't... Traditionally, she's not going to do a lot the turn she comes into play, which is sometimes a problematic card. Because she doesn't have direct impact, when you first play her. But if she stays out, she may, she's gonna have a lot of impact. So, fun card, very interesting card. I want to see how this goes. Guild Mage, whatever, he's fine. I was talking to TK about this card. I think this card, he thought it was bad. I think it's actually good. I think I'm right. But it's very color specific, so it'll kind of be like Fine Broker is in green-white. Still generating card advantage. Still stopping aggro pretty well, but turn 4, you're still kind of in a problem. So I think it's going to be very interesting. One thing to look out for, it is a spirit, so there is some potential there. Ethereal Absolution, neat, going to be game-breaking in draft, but I don't think it's going to be that much of a problem in standard. It's too expensive for what it does. Still not a bad card. It's just going to be hard to, playing 4 of those in the deck's not going to be the call. You might play 1 or 2, but at that point, do you not rather have a Immortal Sun? I mean, you don't know. Kaya's Wrath, I think, is the most playable and best card that I've seen so far. You can argue the Angel, but I mean, at rarity, I think it's going to be very, very impactful. It's the new Wrath of God. 2 whites, 2 blacks, destroy all creatures, and if you have to destroy your own, you're actually going to get some benefit out of it, which is unusual for Wrath effects like this. I think this is very good. It's going to make black, white, blue Esper control, I think, is going to be... Esper control is already good, and now it's going to be better. So pick up 4 of these. This is one rare that you could safely pick up 2 to 4 of and be happy with. So don't feel bad with spinning your wild cards there. Night of the Last Breath card's garbage. Mortify, fantastic. Get 4 of those. Nothing really to say. Destroy target creature, enchantment, 3 mana, instant. Get 4 of them. Pitiless Pontiff, 2/2 for 2. Sacrifice another creature. Gains Death Touch and Indestructible until in turn. I think it's actually going to be very good. Vampire Cleric, so you've got some tribal there, especially Cleric tribals. Actually, I don't think it'll play well in my Cleric tribal. But the interesting thing is it gives you another sacrifice engine for cheap mana. You can tell they're really trying to avoid like the just sacrifice or straight discard with no cost associated with it. So I think it'll fit in some decks, and it's a 2/2 for 2, so it'll draw your shocks if that's it'll take it will take the hate for you. Typical bear. Bears are considered 2/2s for 2 with abilities. Let's see. Final payment. Additional cost to cast a spell, pay 5 life, or sacrifice a creature or enchantment. Destroy target creature. I think it's very good. It's going to be situational. But I think in situations in which it is useful, it is very useful. Even the 5 life sounds, if you're a new player, 5 life sounds like, oh my god, I'm paying 5 life to destroy a creature. There are worse things, especially in black-white, where you've got a lot of, whether you're playing like general life gain with like a Johnny's Welcome, or you're playing hard life gain with different lifelink or vampires, or whatever you're trying to do. I think this definitely has a very good spot. And then, you can also block and sacrifice if, chump block. So you've actually got a lot of different, they attack you with a 7/7 and a 5/5, and you block with your 2/2. Well, you block the 7, or you block the 5/5 with your 2/2, and after blockers are clear, you sacrifice your 2/2, kill the 7/7, so you've essentially prevented 12 damage and killed a creature for only losing a creature that you're planning on losing anyway. So a lot of possibility there. Grasping Throw going to be really good in limited. Never going to see play. It's a 3/3 flying for 5. The Vampire Sovereign, I think, the 3/4 flying for 5 already essentially does a better version of that. It's not a cool creature type. You play it in limited, and it's a good card in limited. Other than that, nah. 2/1 Vigilance for 2, Afterlife 1. I think this will see play. Human Cleric. Sign me up for Clerics. At common, you'll see this a lot in limited, and it's actually a good pick. You probably pick it early to mid, and it's going to be there all the time because it's common. 3/1 Lifelink for 3. Whatever, fine. Tithe Taker. Another card, 2/1 for 2. If you can keep it out, it'll be useful for you. If not, they'll get rid of it, and it draws hate from your other creatures. So it's just going to make them a little more difficult to make it a little more difficult for your opponent. I can see this. You can play this in some sort of weenie decks, or where you're dealing with a lot of hate on your turn as opposed to that. I don't know how this is going to go. I think it'll be not sideboardy, but it'll be just very niche overall. 2/1 Afterlife for 2 for 3. It's alright. Afterlife 2 is kind of interesting. Knight of Sorrows can block an additional creature in combat. Too expensive, but whatever. 2/3 flying for 5 or for 4. Meh, probably never played, except it's good in draft. Alright in draft just because it's a 2/3 flying. Actually pretty decent in draft because you're still getting more evasion there. Probably never playing the Cat Spirit. Sorry, Cat Spirit. 1/2 Death Touch. This actually is not bad, especially in draft. You're not playing it in aggro, but, killing a creature and then still getting something out of it, going to be good. 3/2 for 5. Afterlife 2 enters a discarded card. A little expensive. Once again, probably alright in limited, not great. Never going to see play. I don't think in constructed, but whatever. This card's bad. This shouldn't see play really anywhere. Kind of fun art though. I don't know what the hell that thing is. I guess it's a Thrall. I guess it does look like a Thrall. It's got the little helmet on it. It's kind of cute. So the split cards here. Revival, return target creature with converted mana cost 3 or less from the graveyard to battlefield. Not bad for blacks and or whites. And then 6 mana, double your life. Total, the opponent loses half their life rounded up. I think it's pretty good. I think the Revival is going to get more play. It's honestly worth playing just for Revival in the right deck, obviously. This is kind of like, well, I drew it late game. What is that? And that's kind of what I like about the split cards is early game, they're still going to be useful, and if you draw them late game, they give you some sort of late game use, which then sometimes is not as good or as value-centric as the early game, but I still think this is going to be useful. Consecrates, exile target card from graveyard, draw a card. I think that's actually really good for 2 mana, being able to cantrip and then, deal with, like, an Eldest Reborn. Oh, cool, you want that creature? Nope. And then, so they lose a lot of value on Eldest Reborn. I expect to see this card a lot. And consume, this card is... Go ahead and pick up 4 of these. If you, obviously if you're getting packs or drafting, this card's busted in draft. And it's also busted and constructed because what this card needs to say is fuck Carnage Tyrant. That's what this card says. Target player sacrifices a creature with the greatest power among creatures they control. You gain life equal to its power. So 4 mana, more than likely Carnage Tyrant is on the board. He's going to be the highest power they have, and then they sacrifice him because they have to. It is a sorcery, so that's the downfall. They sacrifice Carnage Tyrant. You gain 7 life. You feel real happy about it. So you're going to see this a lot. Pretty much every white-black deck, I think, is going to run 2 to 3 of these. Not everyone, but a lot of them. You run 2 to 3 of these. A lot of usefulness here. Probably the best uncommon overall. So obviously you've got your lands. We don't need to go over those. And your Locket. So my overall review for Orzhov here is going to be a lot of interesting things to augment already current archetypes. You've got a lot of different archetypes that you can come up with in between. Seraph of the Scales is going to be very, very good. Teysa, I think, is going to be good, but I'll be interested to see how she's going to be good. Kaya's Wrath is the obvious, like, duh, it's going to be good. Mortify is just a great, great card. Final Payment is going to be situational, very good. Creatures are a little underwhelming overall, I think. Well, underwhelming is the wrong word. Creatures are less direct home runs other than Seraph, obviously. Some usefulness here, Guild Mage, whatever. The middling creatures are just kind of meh, like, this is okay. But the spells are really good overall. Not that creatures aren't spells, but you know what I'm talking about. Revival, I think, is got potential in a lot of decks. This card is Consecrate Consume is going to be very good, and then you're going to get your lands shirt up there very well. So a lot of cards going to see a lot of play in a lot of different areas. So Orzhov, like, I want to start like a 10-point scale, I guess, but I don't have any frame of reference at this point. So on like the 10 being overpowered and the 1 being garbage, on a scale that literally doesn't matter, I'm going to give them a hot I'm going to go 7. I think the power level isn't broken, but I think there's a lot of playability here. 7 or 7.5. I'm a waffle between there. Now, and what I may do is a month or 2 from now is I may come back to all of this and then kind of like, I think a lot of people who do reviews like this don't, they make the prediction, they're like, oh, this is going to be great, this is going to be terrible, but they never come back to it and see where they were wrong or see where they were right. So hopefully I remember or have time to do this and go, yeah, I was stupid. Seraph of the Scales is garbage somehow. Or, Basilica Bellhaunt is the best creature we've ever seen in Magic. It's not. But yeah, I want to come back and be able to talk about that later. So I don't know if we're going to break this into different videos or how it's going to go, but we're going to go on to Azorius now.